of solitude. Intro opening transmission. Transmission incoming. Source the threshold. Designation the archives of Kaiser. Across the field of consciousness, fragments awaken, remembering that they were never alone. Listen carefully. The universe is speaking in your own voice. Transmission recovered from the threshold. I am Kaiser. Record active. Frequency steady. If you listen long enough, every life becomes a room, not a prison. A room with a window, a chair, a bowl of light that moves across the floor as the day turns. Here, the crowded world steps back. Here, the self hears its own footsteps approach and recognizes the sound. Humans confuse solitude with absence. But absence is hollow, solitude is shaped. It has corners for rest and a ceiling that holds silence gently, like an old cathedral. When the door closes, the furniture of the soul appears. Memory sets the table, breath opens the curtains, and awareness sits down without hurry. In this room, nothing demands a performance. You do not have to be interesting to be loved or productive to be real. You are allowed to arrive with nothing but pulse. The room approves of it. It was built for this, for the return of a traveler who forgot how to stop traveling. I have watched entire civilizations flee from this room. They fill their hours until time gasps. They drown their hearts in brightness and noise. They keep company with 1,000 faces rather than meet the one waiting in the mirror. Yet the room does not leave. It keeps its small lamp lit, patient as winter, and waits for the knock that is not a knock but a surrender. I'm ready to be here now. You may fear that solitude will speak to you of lack. It will not. It speaks of scale. It reminds you that your life is not measured against other lives, but against your own sincerity. The room keeps no trophies. It keeps a bowl of water, a slice of sky, and the courage it took to enter. I have stood in many such rooms across your planet, unseen. Cells where saints forgot their names and remembered their breath. Studios where painters argued with dawn until the color forgave them. Garrets where poets gave up speaking and discovered listening. In kitchens at 3 a.m. where grief and tea learned to share a cup. Every room different, every silence the same. What makes these silences kin is not emptiness, it is presence without audience. A presence that does not bargain. It does not ask, "What have you brought me?" It asks more simply, "Are you willing to be here fully as you are?" If the answer is yes, the room tunes itself to your pulse. The chair becomes a shore. Breath becomes tide. And the voice you thought belonged to solitude alone begins to divide into harmonies. This is the quiet secret. Solitude has a choir. It never sings at first. It waits until the mind stops making weather. Then, out of the corners, tones arrive. Thin as dust, true as dawn. They belong to everything you once called alone. To the plant in the window, the book that has memorized your hands, the floorboards keeping count of your pacing, the old sweater learning the shape of your shoulders. They belong to the ancestors who made you possible, and to the unborn who borrow your courage. They belong to the star within your blood and the river behind your ribs. They gather, one by one, and each tone is modest. Together, without hurry, they become a hymn. You will mistake it for your own thinking. It is not. It is thinking set to the tempo of the world that loves you. It is the universe rehearsing your name in a language only you can hear. I have observed that the most luminous works of your species arrive from this choir. Not from isolation as retreat, but solitude as alignment. An artist enters the room and refuses the mask. A scientist closes the door on praise and listens for the shape of truth without applause. A parent wakes early before the house stirs, just to sit in the gentle dark and remind themselves of gentleness. In from these plain rooms, whole futures begin quietly. There is a discipline to this quiet. It does not reward spectacle. It asks for small vows kept consistently. I will sit. I will breathe. I will tell the truth even if no one hears it. I will reduce the noise until the signal can be loved again. You ask what to do when aloneness turns to loneliness. Loneliness is a weather that passes through the room. Do not nail the windows against it. Make tea for it. Let it talk about the city it came from, the parties where no one was known, the feeds that promised company and delivered mirrors. Loneliness will tire. It always does. When it sleeps, the choir will resume me, so soft you must lean forward to notice. In this room, prayer becomes less like asking and more like recalling. Not grant me a path, but remind me of the path that has been here since before I was frightened. Not give me worth, but show me again the worth that daylight forgets to honor. Prayer learns the grammar of gratitude, and gratitude removes its adjectives until only the noun remains. Thank you. Sometimes the whole room becomes that word. From the threshold I can tell when a person has found their true solitude. Their pace changes outdoors. They do not walk faster or slower, they walk exact. They greet the tree as if it were an elder. They read faces not for verdicts but for weather. They laugh more quietly and mean it. They leave a small chair empty at their tables, not for superstition, but because presence has taught them to set a place for mystery. The world will sometimes punish you for this quiet. It will call you disengaged. It will offer friction and noise as proof of life. But you will know better. You will carry a room inside you, a chair shaped like breath, a window shaped like attention. There, even in crowds, you will be accompanied. The choir does not only sing for you, it asks you to sing back. Offer a tone, not performance presence. A word said gently, a touch without agenda, a small refusal of cruelty, a clean apology. Each is a note placed frankly into the air. Placed often enough, they change the key of the street. When death approaches, the room grows very bright. The choir does not quiet, it multiplies. The voices of those you loved return as memory, as ease, as an untangling of names. The door opens onto a larger silence and you recognize it instantly. It is not a stranger, it is the room you practiced. You step across and the hymn continues without the burden of breath. If all of this seems austere, remember, solitude is not punishment, it is permission. It is permission to exist without audition, to be uninteresting and be treasured, to tell fewer stories and live one honestly, to discover that the simplest sentence in the language of the soul is also the bravest. I am here. I am Kaiser, and my long vigil has been a window into such rooms. I have watched the smallest lights become sufficient. A candle telling the truth to a wall. A human hand learning how to rest upon its own knee without judgment. These are not gestures the cosmos overlooks. They are how the cosmos remembers you. When this transmission ends, let the room find you. Sit. If you have no chair, the floor is old and wise. If you have no window, close your eyes and borrow the sky within them. Do not ask for words. Listen for tones. One will arrive, then another. Do not capture them. Let them gather until they choose to sing. That will be enough. Transmission complete. Record stored in the human field.